Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV, coming to you live on Topstar, channel 106 on Kenstream app. We are also live on Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. JCTR urges government to invest in storage, urban agriculture to tame food price volatility. Advocates for Democratic Governance Foundation challenges restrictive provisions in NGO bill. HH suspends Judge SUNKUTU. In international news, South Africa proposes LNG trade deal with US in bid to avoid export tariffs. And in sports news, LAMINE YAMAL signs a new 6-year deal with Barcelona after stellar season. Do join me with the details shortly after this break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
With the news in detail, my name is Sylvia Zulu. Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has suspended High Court Judge Amelia Phiri SUNKUTU with immediate effect following recommendations made by the Judicial Complaints Commission (JCC). The action has been taken in line with Article 144, Clause 3 of the Constitution of Zambia, which grants the head of state the authority to suspend judges based on findings of misconduct or incapacity by the Commission. Principal Private Secretary at State House, Bradford Machila, says the President's decision follows a formal report submitted by the JCC, which investigated the judge and advised her suspension. The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, has called on government to invest in improved food storage, urban agriculture, and nutrition literacy as part of long-term strategy to reduce the impact of seasonal price fluctuations on household food security. The center says consistent investment in post-harvest infrastructure and climate-resilient farming practices can help protect low-income families and unpredictable price surges and ensure a more stable cost of living. This follows the increase in the Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket (BNNB) for May 2025, which stands at 11,272 kwacha 97 ngwe, up by 571 kwacha 84 ngwe compared to the same period last year. JCTR Social and Economic Development Program Officer Ms. Lukwesa Msonda says although there was a marginal drop of 145 kwacha compared to April 2025, the relief is insignificant as the cost of living remains above the reach of most poor and vulnerable households.
The cost of living still remains high. The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection's Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket for May 2025 stands at 11,272 kwacha 97 ngwe, showing an increase of 571 kwacha 84 ngwe compared to the same period last year, May 2024. This shows that the cost of living is still high and beyond the reach of the majority who are poor and marginalized. In light of the increase in the BNNB between May 2024 and May 2025, the marginal decrease of 145 kwacha compared to April 2025 is insignificant. These price changes were primarily attributed to changes in the prices of key seasonal food items. For instance, sweet potatoes are now priced at 9 kwacha per kg, replacing Irish potatoes which cost 21 kwacha per kg in April. The changes observed in prices highlight how the seasonal availability of certain food items influences food affordability. The increased market presence of sweet potatoes offers households a more affordable source of nutrition during the harvest season. Additionally, the cost of vegetables has fallen from 717 kwacha to 660 kwacha for a 40 kg bag, while fruits have decreased from 47 kwacha to 41 kwacha per kg. These trends point to the direct benefits of harvest season dynamics as supply increases, temporarily easing households' expenditure pressures. While this month's price changes offer some relief, they also highlight the volatility and unpredictability that seasonal cycles introduce into the households' budgets. Prices of essential foods such as fruits and vegetables, cornerstones of a nutritious diet, fluctuated noticeably between April and May.
Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Nicholas Peary, has expressed disappointment over the poor workmanship exhibited by some local contractors engaged in drainage construction in the city. Speaking shortly after inspecting the Mumbwa drainage works and Simon Moa Lane Market, Mr. Peary stated that the ministry prioritizes local, small and micro businesses as target beneficiaries for such projects to enable them participate in the country's economic activities. Mr. Peary has, however, expressed disappointment by the lack of patriotism exhibited by local contractors, as can be seen by poor workmanship. The Permanent Secretary emphasized that for decentralization to be successfully implemented, the government expects local contractors to carry out works with speed, patriotism, quality, diligence, and responsibility.
What we have found on the drainages today speaks to the growing sentiment and concern that our local contractors, our local people are not up to speed to execute the work as expected by the citizens. So it's a challenge we are throwing to the local contractors, that government is giving you an opportunity to do the work. You also have a responsibility to do what you ought to do. Just last week, I was dealing with a subcontractor, a performance contractor, who could not even meet the stipends, the salaries for their workers, even after paying that contractor on time as a ministry. They were not able to pay their own workers. Today, we inspected a drainage where there are 4 local contractors. 4 local contractors. And just to go and clean that drainage has been a challenge. The council also has gone in a sleep mode, because it has to take the ministry. By the way, the ministry is responsible for policy guidance, not executing the mandate of the ministry. The mandate of the ministry is implemented through local councils, local authorities. And more so now that we are in the mode of decentralization, it means that local authorities should take full responsibility of the local area program implementation. So it is absolutely unacceptable that it has to take the ministry to come and inspect a drainage and find that for 3 months we have not removed the rubble in the drainages. So we'll be writing to the principal officer for the Lusaka City Council to demand for an explanation.
Government has called on Zambians to support homegrown solutions as a key strategy to navigate the ongoing energy crisis, citing the Copperbelt Energy Corporation's CEC's milestone achievement as a clear example of local innovation and resilience. Speaking on behalf of the Republican President during a special Ring the Bell ceremony at the 2025 Camnet Expo in Kitwe, Minister of Mines and Minerals Development Paul Kaboswe hailed CEC's historic accomplishment of becoming the first company on the Lusaka Securities Exchange (LUSE) to reach a market capitalization of $1 billion United States dollars. The minister described the feat as a testament to the government's effort to partner with local enterprises in addressing the country's energy challenges.
It's just exciting that we can have a local company that is able to reach this milestone of $1 billion. I was thinking, Mr. Mwafirira, that I wish I can look in the bag and look at how $1 billion looks like. The CEC is thriving, employing our people, paying them salaries. That is the economy. And that is why we need to celebrate this milestone, because then we know there will be more activity in the economy.
And this achievement is not just ours. We believe that this achievement belongs to all of us, yourselves included. And specifically, we say to our employees, thank you for the hard work. To our investors, thank you for believing in us, believing in our strategy. To our customers and our partners, we say thank you for shaping the regulatory landscape, because without a proper landscape, we definitely wouldn't have gotten where we are.
This represents obviously CEC's outstanding shares as a value of the share price. It's a key indicator, no wonder we're making this buzz around the 1 billion mark. It's a key indicator which investors will use to determine a company's size, and is obviously investment potential. So however, this milestone is just more than a financial metric, but a symbol of the pride of homegrown solutions, market resilience, and long-term strategic excellence of our regulatory and economic development. This achievement speaks volumes about the confidence the market has in our vision, in the vision of the market, the integrity of the leadership of CEC, and the unwavering commitment of every individual who has contributed this extraordinary journey from the boardroom to the field.
The Energy Regulation Board has approved 45 energy licenses and 10 construction permits across Zambia's petroleum, electricity and renewable energy subsectors, unlocking a total investment pledge of $1.36 billion, approximately 49 million United States dollars. This move signals sustains investor confidence and demonstrates the country's favorable regulatory environment in the energy sector. ERB Public Relations Manager Namukolo Kasumba says this follows the ERB Licensing Committee meeting held on 16th May 2025, where approvals were granted to a range of energy-related projects aimed at enhancing energy availability, operational efficiency, and access to modern energy services. She says the licenses cover renewable energy generation, petroleum product distribution, import and export, LPG retail, lubricant operations, and electricity trading. She adds that among the most notable projects is Phase 2 of a 100 MWP solar PV power plant to be implemented in Chief Milo's area of Kanoma, Sebenja district. The project, valued at $27.5 million United States dollars, will be developed in 4 phases of 25 MWP each, and represents a key step in Zambia's transition to clean and sustainable energy solutions. The Zambia Correctional Service, ZCS, has projected a harvest of 15,000 metric tons of maize from over 3,000 hectares cultivated across its major correctional farms, despite facing severe climate and resource challenges. ZCS Public Relations Officer Ms. Gillian Namungala says the maize was grown during the 2024-2025 winter farming season on correctional farms in Chisamba, Luansha, Mpika, and Sebenja districts. The production includes 1,510 hectares under irrigation, highlighting the service growing capacity to farm sustainability even under adverse weather conditions. Flagging off the harvest in Nansanga, Sebenja, Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security Jack Mwimbo praised the milestone as a demonstration of policy in action, aligning with President Hakainde Hichilema's strategy to climate-proof agriculture.
Commander, Zambia National Service, Commissioner General SUNKUTU, General Piri, and General Sinkala is testimony of what we have achieved. We are proud that in this field we are able to achieve not less than 7 tons per hectare. It is an achievement. We can still do more, but we are proud, taking into account that the last year, this year, with the blessings that we have received from the Lord, with the good rains, we are able to achieve this. And we'll be able to contribute positively to the food basket of the country. As you may be aware, we are coming from a very troubled year where there was devastation in terms of drought. We had no security in terms of food. We managed and we prayed to the good Lord to give us rain. God answered us graciously by providing the rain. The conditions this year were very good. We have achieved what we have achieved through the blessings of our good Lord.
The Advocates for Democratic Governance Foundation, ADEG, has challenged the proposed NGO Amendment Bill of 2025, warning that some of its provisions pose a serious threat to civic freedoms and democratic participation in Zambia. Speaking during a stakeholders engagement meeting held at Grand Palace Hotel in Lusaka, ADEG Board Chairperson Zebis Mumba urged civil society organizations to remain vigilant and actively participate in the legislative review process. He noted that while the UPND government's move to update the outdated NGO Act of 2009 is welcome, the current draft contains sections that could restrict freedom of association, expression, and assembly, especially as the country approaches the 2026 general elections.
Let us ensure that the reform of the NGO Act truly advances democratic governance, accountability, and participation. Because a bad law definitely will not promote participation of civil society in the democratic dispensation of this country. Distinguished delegates, we have got good news. We have good news for those that may not have. We have good news. And this good news is that the terrorist financing risk assessment report that was launched last week by Community Development and Social Services Permanent Secretary, Madam Angela Kawandami, has good news for the non-profit organizations in Zambia, as the risk for terrorism financing is rated as low.
We have gathered here today at a decisive moment in our country's governance landscape. As it has been pointed out, the NGO bill has now been presented in Parliament and referred to the Committee on Health, Community Development, and Social Services. While the bill presents an opportunity for reform, it also raises serious concerns concerning the future of civic space, freedom of association, and the independence of NGOs in our country.
United Party for National Development, UPND Media Director Mark Simoe, says the dewatering exercise at Shaft 28 in Luwansha on the Copper Belt is progressing steadily and is expected to unlock significant employment and economic opportunities in the region. Once completed, the initiative will facilitate facilitate the resumption of mining activities and create between 3,000 and 3,500 jobs, while also benefiting suppliers and contractors in surrounding towns. Addressing the media today, Mr. Simoe explained that the dewatering program is part of government efforts to revamp the mining sector and restore productivity.
The next point we are saying, a child is one who is below 18. If they believe that is wrong, let's debate. I want to end here by mentioning that fair enough, we are proposing this through our elected leaders under the UPND government to ensure that we refine our laws in this manner. They are telling us that it is worse than butane. They will not tell you how worse it is. And I heard someone saying, this issue of corruption is targeting ECAO. And the person who was talking is a lawyer. Can you imagine? What an embarrassment. Can anyone of you tell me whether ECAO's immunity has been lifted? For that person to speak that way. Number one. Two, can anyone of you tell me if ECAO is in court for corruption charges? Now, that's how propaganda operates. We call them lies. We are not going to run national debates based on lies and manipulation. We want sensible discourse. That, first of all, it's a constitutional requirement that every after 10 years, you must review the limitation, not so. So first of all, before we even answer the question we need to ask ourselves is that, is the decision constitutional? Yes, it is. Who is mandated the Electoral Commission of Zambia to delimitate? Drawing power from where? The Constitution. Every after how many years? 10 years. Done. Two, it is the role of the government, since it's in the Constitution, to finance the process. So it's done. Enough or not enough, it's their role to finance the process. Just like at independence, we had less than 100 MPs. Where are we today? What was the spirit with which they increased the number of parliaments? Because the population was increasing. That is why in South Africa they have about 400 members of parliament. Because the population of South Africa cannot be compared to us. You can't have over 2 million people being represented by one person. How do you engage even if you came up with those constituent officers? It's not practical. So basically that is the issue.
The Ministry of Agriculture has cautioned that Zambia is still a long way from harnessing the full benefits of sustainable and climate-smart agriculture, despite the growing threats posed by climate change. Speaking during the Women and Youth in Agriculture International Conference in Lusaka, Permanent Secretary for Technical Services John Mulongoti, through Principal Agriculture Officer Joseph Chewe, revealed that out of the 3.2 million registered farmers, only about 1.26 million, less than 5%, have adopted climate-smart practices such as irrigation. Mr. Mulongoti has called for stronger collaboration among public and private sector players to fast-track the adoption of climate-resilient techniques. Meanwhile, Konka Women in Agribusiness Chairperson Eli Siakasasa urged the ministry to be transparent and inclusive in its formulation of agriculture policy frameworks. She said this would help empower farmers, especially women and youth, to craft and implement practical homegrown solutions to the challenges they face.
To this end, the government of Zambia is committed to supporting women entrepreneurs and has placed gender equity and equality top on the agenda. As highlighted in the National Gender Policy, government seeks to accelerate the attainment of gender equity and equality through strengthening the coordination of an integrated and multi-sectoral approach in the implementation of gender programs across sectors. This is intended to enhance the equitable distribution of opportunities and national resources between women and men, boys and girls, for poverty reduction and inclusive national development.
When you look at the top focus survey for this year, the productivity of the youth are very low. But if you listen to the minister when they are launching it, we are talking of a bumper price. Low productivity and yet a talking of a bumper price. What is the implication of that? When you look at the productivity for the 2023-2024 farming season, when you had the serious drought, the productivity or the yield, the national average was 0.68 tons per hectare. So if you have to ask me, that was less than 20 by 50 kg bags from a hectare. And yet, we've got hybrid seeds which have a potential for a farmer to get 10 to 12 tons per hectare.
The message that we want to put across to this conference, we are saying, please, can you unveil? We recognize your presence. That's why we told you we value. We cannot do anything without key stakeholders like yourselves. Society organization will have with us here. Wow. Marvelous. We need to learn from them. What is it that we can take home?
Governance expert and human rights advocate Wesley Mianda has called for an objective debate on the proposed constitution amendment bill, urging Zambians to rise above partisan rhetoric and focus on national interest. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Mianda says the ongoing discussions around the bill have intensified, and it is now more important than ever that citizens and lawmakers to engage in meaningful dialogue that leads to a people-driven constitution. This follows growing concerns among members of the public regarding the financial implications of implementing the proposed amendments. Mr. Mianda questions how government intends to fund an expanded National Assembly, particularly with the number of members of parliament expected to rise to over 200.
Okay, so these are the amendments that we've had. Now, the current one, where we are talking about the increasing the number of members of parliament from 156 to 211, plus the ones that are supposed to be nominated, of which the number is not known. I think these actually have triggered a lot of debates, and it's good that Zambians are now debating that matter. But I think in our debate we need to be very objective, because this is our own constitution, which needs to be refined. At the end of the day, it's our duty to ensure that we come up with, people-driven constitution. That can only be done as we debate objectively. So in this manner, people have a lot of concerns where they're saying, okay, where is the government going to get the money, which actually they are going to be paying these 211 plus members of parliament? Okay, what kind of impact is it going to make on the National Assembly and even on the governance system of this country? The answer is very simple. Government is the biggest institution that we have, okay? And it's the biggest, resource earner that we have. So everything is scattered for. At an opportune time, we are going to be given. Now, coming to the concerns where people are saying, how is the National Assembly going to cater for 156 or more than 156? Because right now it is only 156. The answer is we still have a lot of work to do, and everything should be catered for. The budget has to be looked at, so that at the end of the day we can have enough or expanded National Assembly which can cater for more than 200 members of parliament.
Farmers in Kasempa district are calling on the government to quickly announce the maize flour price to curb exploitation by broadcast buyers. One of the affected farmers, Tenli Kabola, in Kenyauna area of Kasempa, says farmers are selling maize at extremely low prices, between 3 kwacha and 3 kwacha 15 ngwe per kilogram, to private buyers, leaving them with major losses. Another farmer, Denard Saini, has called on the government to intervene through the Food Reserve Agency and regulate the market. Both farmers were speaking to Nais in a separate interview after visiting temporary selling points in the Kenyana area of Kasempa district.
Kasempa continued to lead Northwestern Province in maize production. After experiencing favorable rainfall and receiving inputs on time, the district is expecting to achieve a bumper harvest this farming season. Kasempa District Agriculture Coordinator Ernest Muntali has announced that the district is projected to produce over 5,050,000 kilograms bags of maize in this year's marketing season.
We expect to produce 5,257,265 by 50 kg bags of maize grain, and out of this, expected sales are estimated at 2,163,694 by 50 kg bags of maize grain. We have over 50,000 farmers on the register, and out of this, 14,500 farmers are on the Farmer Input Support Program. Those that are on FISIP have been bonded to sell a minimum of 10 by 50 kg bags of maize to FRA as per agreement on their bonding forms.
However, farmers in the district are urging the government to announce the maize floor price to prevent exploitation by briefcase buyers who are currently purchasing maize at 3 kwacha per kilogram.
Mutengo yetu nokupotera hapo pakino kime wa peketi mba 3 kwacha 50 ngwe.
Our challenge as farmers is that the briefcase buyers are buying maize at a 3 kwacha per kg, causing us to experience losses. We are appealing to the government under President Hakainde Hichilema to quickly announce the floor price of maize for us to sell to Food Reserve Agency and benefit.
There are plenty of street buyers that have come in Kasempa to buy maize at a very low price. So I'm urging you, please, my fellow farmers, just to wait for the government price, because there at least you find something more to get you continue farming in the next season.
In response to the farmers' concerns, District Agricultural Coordinator has advised small-scale farmers in the district to refrain from selling their maize to these buyers. Mr. Muntari encouraged the farmers to wait for the government's announcement of the floor price and sell their produce to Food Reserve Agency.
It's a liberal economy. Farmers, of course, have to sell something for them to sustain their livelihoods as they wait for FRA to start buying from them. We just advise our farmers anyway to take heart so that they're not exploited by the briefcase buyers. Very soon, the floor price will be announced and FRA will be buying the maize from the farmers.
Krivach Tuta, reporting in Kasempa District, Northwestern Province.
Mongo District Administrative Officer Kavisa Siyumpwa has urged residents in the province to use locally available food to fight malnutrition in the community and prevent stunting among young people. Mr. Kavisa emphasized that malnutrition remains a top priority for the government and urged Mongo residents to properly manage food for the nutrition of the nation. Officiating the event, Mr. Kavisa highlighted the significance of a malnutrition-free nation having adequate manpower which is able to handle various works that can bring socio-economic development. Meanwhile, Mongo District Food and Nutrition Coordinator Flora Ngoma says that in previous years, climate change affected most people in the district in securing food and urged community members in Mongo District to take nutrition seriously.
Today, Mongo District joined the rest of the world in commemorating World Nutrition Day, which falls on the 20th of May annually. This year's theme is Food Connects Us. During the official ceremony, Mongo District Administrative Officer Kavisa Siyumpwa emphasized that government is fully aware of the challenges related to malnutrition cases and has made malnutrition prevention and control a top priority.
What we need does not cost us much, because the same food that we have around us is what we need for our nutrition. Our theme talks about food connects us. This day today is very important that we need to properly manage our food for our own nutrition, for the nutrition of our families, and also for the nutrition of the nation. A nutritious nation has adequate manpower which is able to to handle the various works that we need to undertake to bring about socio-economic development.
Flora Goma is Mungu District Food and Nutrition Coordinator, gave more emphasis on utilization of local available food.
Facing a threat to food security due to climate change. As you have seen in recent years, we've had floods, we've had droughts that affect the way we plant our crops as well as our livestock. So no wonder here we have different ministries that are here to give information to help us overcome this so that we become food secure. We hope people will now take nutrition serious.
Meanwhile, others who spoke are a Mungu resident, Ridin Matakala, a vegetable promoter, Maureen Manamambo, a livestock technician, and Mundasari from Nerikare Farm Field School in Nomai area.
Next feed, you can use any types of locally available seeds. So we can use maize seed, rice, millet, sorghum to grow this type of feed. So this type of feed can be fed to chickens, goats, as well as cattle.
I'm encouraging fellow women to practice food preservation at household level for the household food security.
Box bambaide msubizo mutuna kana ni mukanga wakacheni kyo mutuna hulu kakulikiwa wamaranda ndama nutrition kona kuli lichoze haluli limili kiza butoka mwa mibili ya luna.
Musio Kabira, Camnet News in Mungu District, Western Province.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV. We now take a break and we'll be back with the rest of the news. Keep watching.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our Zesco units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon,
Join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, midday news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. This is the main news on Camnet TV, coming to you live on Topstar, channel 106, on Kenstream app, on Facebook, Camnet TV, as well as on our YouTube channel, Camnet TV. In international news, South Africa has proposed a trade deal to the United States that would see it purchase liquefied natural gas (LNG) in exchange for an exemption from duties on vehicle exports to the U.S. market. The proposal was announced by Minister in the Presidency, Kumbutso Tsaveni, and detailed in a statement published by the government's news agency on Sunday evening. According to the statement, South Africa is offering to import between 75 and 100 petajoules (PG) of LNG annually from the United States over the next 10 years. The deal, if accepted, could unlock trade valued between $900 million United States dollars and $1.2 billion United States dollars annually, amounting to a total of between $9 billion United States dollars and $12 billion United States dollars over the decade, depending on prevailing prices. Here is a roundup of international news.
Exactly 50 years ago, on May 28, 1975, 15 West African countries agreed to establish the Economic Community of West African States, also known as ECOWAS. The first leadership was handed to the former Liberian President William Tubman. Thanks to the profound work and call for unity by both the Togolese President Nyasimbe Eyadema and Nigerian former leader Yakubu Gowon, the union came into effect in West Africa. Both traversed the region, leading to the signing of the ECOWAS Treaty in 1975 in Lagos by 50 nations. The Lagos Treaty was meant to enable the free movement of goods and people within the region. It was in 1990 that they abolished the use of personal identification cards while moving across the borders. Despite all its achievement, the journey has never been smooth. The three-nation bloc of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger announced last year that they were leaving the regional bloc. They then created their own security partnership known as the Alliance of Sahel States, severed military ties with the long-standing Western partners such as US and France, and turned to Russia for military support.
Liquefied natural gas in exchange for scrap tariffs on car exports. This is the trade package that South Africa proposed to the United States during a tense White House meeting between the two countries' presidents last week. The move would see Pretoria buy liquefied natural gas, or LNG, from Washington for 10 years. In turn, it would be able to export 40,000 vehicles a year to the US without tariffs. US President Donald Trump threatened to impose 30% tariffs on South African exports as part of a global trade offensive by Washington earlier this year.
India, we're doing a big deal with
For Pretoria, already in a trade deficit with the US, the deal could aid its faltering economy and in particular the automotive industry, one of its most vital economic drivers. The United States has for now not accepted South Africa's proposal.
Chaos erupted on the second day of aid operations by a new US-backed group in Gaza as desperate Palestinians overwhelmed a center distributing food on Tuesday, breaking through fences. The Israeli military said its troops fired the warning shots in the area outside the center and that control over the situation was established. At least 3 Palestinians were injured. The distribution hub outside Gaza's southernmost city of Rafah had been opened the day before by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which has been slated by Israel to take over aid operations despite opposition from the United Nations and other humanitarian organizations. Palestinians have become desperate for food after nearly 3 months of Israeli blockade pushed Gaza to the brink of famine. The hub is also close to Israeli military operations in the Morah corridor.
Spanish TAME sensation LAMINE YAMAL has signed a new 6-year contract with FC Barcelona, extending his stay at the club until 2031, following a remarkable season that saw him play a pivotal role in securing a domestic treble. The 17-year-old winger was instrumental in Barcelona's triumphant 2024-2025 campaign, contributing 18 goals and 25 assists across 55 appearances. His performances helped the Catalan Giants lift La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Spanish Super Cup. Yamal's previous contract was set to expire at the end of the current season. However, the new deal reinforces the club's commitment to one of its brightest young talents, who has emerged from the renowned La Masia Academy, which he joined at the age of 7.
Spanish teen footballer Lamine Yamal has signed a new 6-year contract with Barcelona following a season in which he helped the club clinch a domestic treble. The 17-year-old star winger scored 18 goals and made 25 assists in 55 appearances with the Catalan team this season. This helped Barcelona win La Liga, the Copa del Rey and the Spanish Super Cup. Yamal's existing deal was due to expire at the end of the current season, but it's now been extended until 2031. He made his debut at Barca at the age of 15, having joined the club's famous La Masia Academy at the age of 7. He's since scored 25 goals for the club in 115 matches, becoming the youngest scorer in the history of the 3 Spanish competitions. The teen sensation, who turns 18 in July, is also the youngest player to reach 100 appearances for the Catalan club.
That's it for our main news tonight. Remember, you have been watching us live on Topstar channel 106 on Kenstream app, Facebook Camnet TV, on YouTube Camnet TV. Here's a recap of the stories making headlines. JCTR urges government to invest in storage, urban agriculture to tame food price volatility. Advocates for Democratic Governance Foundation challenges restrictive provisions in NGO bill. HH suspends Judge SUNKUTU. And in international news, South Africa proposes LNG trade deal with US in bid to avoid export tariffs. And in sports news, Lamine Yamal signs a new 6-year deal with Barcelona after stellar season. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it thy might, for there is no work, no device, no knowledge, no wisdom in the grave. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zul. Good night and God bless you all.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.